The Strand subclass is the new hotness and grandmasters are finally upon us. Today we're going to look at the ultimate Strand Hunter build to have you puppeteering your way through grandmasters and other in-game content with ease. What you can expect from this build is infinite suspend, infinite orbs of power, infinite destabilizing rounds, fast super cooldowns, dealing with all champion types, always having extra damage resist with woven mail, all while destroying everything in sight. The whole build revolves around the hunter aspects Widow's Silk and Ensnaring Slam. These are the only aspects available to us at this time, but they work so well with this build. Widow's Silk provides us with an extra grenade, while Ensnaring Slam allows us to consume our dodge in order to slam enemies nearby and suspend them. The grenade we'll be using is the Shackle Grenade. It is a thrown weapon of weighted strand matter that detonates on impact, suspending targets and creating additional suspending sub-projectiles. The way we achieve infinite suspends is through the combination of our fragments, armor mods, and artifact mods. For our first fragment, we will be using Thread of Mind, which will grant you class ability energy whenever you defeat suspended targets. This will make it so you can constantly have your dodge ability as long as you are defeating suspended targets. The next fragment is Thread of Wisdom. Defeating suspended targets with precision final blows creates an orb of power. This fragment is a backup way of creating orbs of power, with the main orb creation coming from our armor mods. Thread of Warding is the next fragment, and it gives you Woven Mail just for picking up orbs of power. Woven Mail flat out gives you a noticeable damage resist buff that you will almost always have as long as you are making orbs of power. The final fragment, we are using Thread of Continuity, which will increase the duration of suspend, unraveling, and sever effects. Now that we have the subclass out of the way, let's talk about your artifact mods. In the tier 1 column, it is up to you, but I would recommend getting Overload SMG/auto rifle, and I'll explain why later. In tier 2, you definitely want multi-siphon to combine Strand and Void. You also should get Grenade, Void, and Strand authorized mods to make everything cheaper. For tier 3, we are using Untangler, which suspends targets that get damaged from a destroyed Tangled, and also Volatile Flow, giving your Void weapons volatile rounds after picking up an Orb of Power. Moving on to tier 4, we are using Allied Unraveling. Rapid final blows with a Strand weapon grant your weapon unraveling rounds, and Counterweave to give you back Strand energy for your least charged ability when you or a member of your fire team defeats a champion. And finally, in tier 5, we're using Threaded Blast. Destroying a Tangled with a Strand weapon creates a larger and more damaging explosion. Next, we have armor mods and hitting that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Starting in your helmet, we want to be using Void/Strand Dual Siphon to be creating orbs of power from both Void and Strand weapons. And also Dynamo, that will grant you super energy when using your class ability near targets. For our gauntlets, we will be using Grenade Kickstart, Font of Focus, and Bolstering Detonation. This will be giving you grenade energy back while also giving you class ability energy all at the same time when using your grenade. Just make sure you have an armor charge from picking up an orb of power. For our chest, we are using 2 charged up mods to increase the amount of armor charges we can have, but you can change out one of these for resistance mods if you want to. For the legs, we are using Absolution to reduce all ability cooldowns. Better Already and Reciprocation to make you unkillable, all from picking up orbs of power. And lastly, in your class item, we are running Time Dilation to prolong our armor charges, Distribution to reduce all ability cooldowns when using our class ability near targets, and Reaper to create orbs of power when we kill an enemy after using our class ability. Our exotic for this build, we're using the 6 Coyote chest. This exotic gives us a second dodge charge, so we'll have 2 class suspends and 2 grenade suspends. As for weapons, you need to be running a Strand and a Void weapon. I strongly advise that you use a Void weapon with the stabilizing rounds. The Quicksilver Storm is a great option if you have the Catalyst done for it, and if not, then you can use any Strand weapon. For your Void weapon, you can use the Basso Shotgun found on Neomuna, or the Ecliptic Glaive you can get from leveling up your activity vendors. The way we deal with all champion types is from our weapons and abilities. We can deal with barrier champions from volatile rounds from our Void weapons. For unstoppable champions, we just need to suspend them, and for overload, we are using Auto SMG Artifact perk. If you want to see more build videos like this, make sure to subscribe. Now get out there and touch some grass.